Have you ever had that spine-tingling feeling that you've done this exact thing before? You're talking to a friend or walking down a new street, and suddenly, glitch. You know what they're going to say next. It's haunting, right? Scientists call it déjà vu, French for already seen. But is it a ghost of a past life, a rift in the matrix, or just your brain tripping over its own feet? I'm your host, and today on Well Facts, we're hacking into the ultimate brain glitch. Let's dive in. First, let's see how many of you are actually glitch-prone. Research suggests about 60 to 70% of the global population has experienced déjà vu at least once. If you haven't, well, maybe you're the only real person in the simulation. But for the rest of us, it's a universal mystery that hits certain groups harder than others. Data shows that déjà vu peaks significantly between the ages of 15 and 25. Why? Because that's when your brain is at its most plastic, constantly rewiring and firing at peak speeds. As we get older, our brain's internal fact-checking mechanisms slow down, making these errors less frequent. But here's a kicker for the modern audience. People who travel often or watch a high volume of movies are significantly more likely to experience it. Why? Because your brain is a pattern-matching machine. The more environments you see, the more spatial templates you store in your mental library. Also, keep an eye on your lifestyle. Stress and fatigue are major triggers. When you're exhausted, your brain's processing speed can falter, causing the neural gears to slip just enough to create that double-take sensation. It's not a supernatural vision, it's your neurons basically having a Sunday driver moment on a high-speed highway. Higher education levels and higher income brackets also correlate with more frequent episodes, likely due to more frequent travel and exposure to diverse stimuli. So, how does the hardware actually fail? One of the leading explanations is the dual processing theory. Think of your brain like a high-end PC running a live stream. Normally, your brain processes incoming information, what you see, hear, and feel, through two different pathways simultaneously. These pathways usually arrive at the finishing line at the exact same time, creating a single, seamless moment of now. But imagine if one of those pathways had a tiny millisecond lag. Perhaps you're distracted by your phone, or a single neuron misfires. For a split second, your brain receives the information twice, once as a preview that doesn't quite register consciously, and then a second time as the main event. Because the first signal already left a footprint in your processing center, the second signal feels like a memory. It's as if your brain saves the file to the hard drive a fraction of a second before it displays it on the monitor. You're essentially watching a live broadcast with a 50-millisecond delay, but your brain is trying to convince you that the footage is from a year ago. Scientists call this a delayed neural transmission. This optical echo creates a paradox. You are experiencing the present and a memory of the present at the same time. It's a sensory hiccup where the recording light turns on before the play button is even pressed. It's not magic or a parallel life. It's just your brain's internal clock losing its rhythm for a single heartbeat. Now, let's talk about the Gestalt similarity theory, pioneered by Dr. Cleary. Imagine you walk into a trendy new cafe in Paris. You've never been to France, let alone this specific shop. Yet, the moment you step in, the feeling hits you like a freight train. You know exactly where the counter is. You feel like you know what's behind that staff door. Why? Dr. Cleary's research suggests your brain is reacting to the spatial geometry, the skeleton of the room. In her fascinating lab experiments, she used virtual reality to test this. She would show participants a digital scene, like a bowling alley. Later, she'd show them a completely different setting, like a hospital waiting room, that had the exact same layout. The chairs were placed where the ball returns were, and the reception desk was exactly where the shoe counter had been. The results were stunning. Participants would get a massive hit of déjà vu. They didn't consciously remember the bowling alley, but their brain recognized the spatial blueprint. This is called familiarity without recognition. Your brain is essentially a master of templates. It stores the layout of every room, park, and building you've ever visited. When you enter a new place that shares a similar configuration, maybe the furniture is arranged just like your third-grade classroom, your brain's match light turns on. It's trying to find a file in a giant mental cabinet of layouts. It finds a close enough match and triggers that eerie sensation of having been there before. You aren't seeing the future, you're just recognizing a pattern. So the next time you feel that weird vibe in a random hotel lobby, look past the decor. Is the desk in the same spot as your childhood bedroom? You're not psychic, you're just a spatial genius with a very sensitive copy-paste detector. But what if it's deeper than just furniture? Let's dive into the wetware, the biological short circuit happening in your temporal lobe. This is the region of your brain responsible for processing sensory input and storing memories. Specifically, we're looking at a high-speed handoff between two tiny players, the rhinal cortex and the hippocampus. Think of the rhinal cortex as your familiarity alarm. Its only job is to signal, "Hey, I've seen this before." The hippocampus, on the other hand, is the librarian that tells you exactly when and where you saw it. Usually, they work in perfect harmony, but during déjà vu, the rhinal cortex fires off its familiar signal, but the hippocampus fails to provide the context. It's like getting an incoming call notification on your phone, but the caller ID is blank. You know the number is familiar, but you can't put a name to it. This happens because of a phenomenon called memory leakage. Normally, new information travels from your short-term memory to your long-term storage after it's been processed. But during a neural glitch, the information takes a shortcut. It leaks directly into your long-term memory before you've even had a chance to consciously register it in the present. Your brain looks at the current moment and mistakenly pulls it out of the archived folder. We actually learned a lot about this from people with temporal lobe epilepsy. For some patients, an intense, prolonged wave of déjà vu acts as a warning sign or an aura right before a seizure starts. This tells us that for the rest of us, déjà vu is essentially a localized, harmless electrical misfire, a tiny brain burp in the circuit meant for memory recognition. It's a momentary surge of electricity where your brain performs a system reboot on the fly. It's a high-speed error that proves just how complex and occasionally glitchy our organic computers are. Now, let's get a little sci-fi. Some people swear that during déjà vu, they can predict exactly what's about to happen. This feeling is so intense that famous physicists like Michio Kaku have mused about the quantum radio theory. The idea is that there are infinite parallel universes vibrating at different frequencies. Usually, our radio is tuned to our world, but during déjà vu, your brain might briefly tune into a version of yourself in another universe who is a few seconds ahead. It's a mind-bending thought, but does it hold up? Science says not really. When researchers like Dr. Cleary tested this in labs, they found that while people felt like they knew what would happen next, their actual hit rate was no better than random guessing. It's an illusion called hindsight bias. Your brain is so fast at processing the present that it rewrites the memory of the last 2 seconds to make it feel like you predicted it. You aren't seeing the future. Your brain is just a very convincing liar that wants to feel like it's in control. You're not psychic. You're just experiencing a prediction error where the brain mistakes a current perception for a past premonition. It's a fascinating example of how our minds try to make sense of a split-second glitch by creating a supernatural narrative. Ultimately, déjà vu isn't a sign that you're losing your mind or that the universe is broken. It's actually a sign of a healthy, high-functioning brain. It shows that your internal fact-checking system is working to resolve a tiny data error. Thanks for exploring the glitches of the mind with us today on Whale Facts. If you enjoyed this trip through the Matrix, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing facts. And stay tuned, because next time we might talk about déjà vu, the creepy feeling when something familiar suddenly feels totally alien. See you then!